This is Political News. I am Gloria Moraga. Thank you for being here. This is the audio version of a live stream that I produced on Tuesday, April 28th. And the day was filled with images and sounds from the King of England's visit. And I'll just be honest, I never liked Prince Charles, and then later the King Charles. I admired and highly respected Princess Diana, whom he was married to. I admired and respected her because of her work for others, her work to increase awareness of AIDS, her work in Africa, and on and on. Here was a woman who was, in line to be the queen and the mother of a future king. And she gave of herself for those poorer and weaker than herself. So, yes, I admired her. And if we are on teams, I was on Team Diana, not Team Charles. Because he openly and very publicly cheated on her and then divorced her. So I made it clear, so what? He's coming to the United States. Yeah, what a creepball. But I have to take that all back in this regard, in the regard that he came here and he lectured Congress on the Magna Carta and the rule of law and our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. And I appreciate that and thank him for that. And I take it back that he's not a creepball. I appreciate that he did that in a time when the Congress is totally given up its power, the MAGAs have, to follow Trump around like little dogs. I don't even want to say dogs because I don't want to insult dogs because I love dogs. But they're allowing this wannabe dictator, Trump, to do whatever. And it's destroying our country. So I loved the fact that Charles actually did lecture Congress, even though they didn't seem to get it at the time. They stood and they applauded. But it's like, he's talking to you, dude, MAGA Mike, and all you others, and you're standing up and applauding him. He's telling you to get a grip. You're equal branch of government. There are checks and balances. You need to check this wannabe dictator. And if you read the Magna Carta, which he talks about heavily in his speech, you see that the king doesn't have full power in England. The king doesn't have power, actually, at all. The rule of law is the power there, as it should be in this country. So enough of my lecture. Here is that live stream the day that Prince Charles was here for most of the day. And thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being here. Please follow me and catch me live on YouTube every night. I appreciate it. Oops. Okay. Holy mackerel. All righty then. Hi, everybody. I forgot to turn on my lights, so I just flicked them on. So I don't know. Hey, how's everybody? How are you doing? It's still Tuesday in wherever I am in Northern California. And it's all about the king. The king, the king, the king. If you don't want to hear about the king, if you don't want to hear about Magna Carta and the rule of law, then this is not your live stream. You're going to have to go and I'm going to try to turn my light down. You're going to have to go and find, how many crazy live shots are there online right now? Let's see. Just turning the lights down. So, how are you? How was your day, dear? I'm Gloria Moraga. This is Political News. This is my channel, Political News. Please subscribe. Please follow me. Please like if you stay and decide that you want to hear from King Charles III, the monarch of England. If you want to hear him lecture Congress and send subtle messages to the Epstein survivors, this is your channel. If you don't, then you probably should swipe away and go and find a cooking channel or somebody dancing or, I don't know, being goofy. I'm Gloria Moraga. This is Political News. Please subscribe. All right. This is one shot. This is actually a video, and I'm going to play it. And we have a lot of this from the King of England, a lot of walking. Here's what gets me. Listen to this. Pausing. This is an iconic staircase and an iconic group shot. When I was there, and there were big state dinners when I worked in Washington, D.C. for 10 years, we had a lot of, big shots. Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for being here. I'm talking about the King's visit. So this is one of the shots from tonight at the state dinner. But here's what gets me. Listen to this. I don't know what Melania's looking around at, but oh my God, how bad or off key is the band? Hi, I've been doing just late night stuff because I'm so far behind on everything, and I haven't been doing shorts. I've been concentrating on the lives, and then for some reason or other, I've been trying to do the whole technical thing of multi-streaming at the same time, here and on Substack. And I mean, everybody does it. Malcolm Nance does it. He doesn't even know how to put videos up on the screen. He holds up his computer, turns like this, but he multi-streams. So I've been working on that, and then I wind up going late lives. And I've been dropping the ball on shorts because someone advised to concentrate on the live streams in vertical form to grow my channel. I'm trying to grow the channel. So that's where I've been. I will start trying to do better. But tonight, early morning, it's all about the King. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it now, get it out of the way. I'll say it again at the end. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I've mocked him. I've disliked him. I was on Team Diana. I know. I'm still bitter about that. I'm still not going to even acknowledge that she's passed away. Anyway, I just have rolled my eyes. It's like, oh, here comes this old fart. Excuse the expression. And I was wrong. I was wrong about everything. I apologize. I was totally wrong. The guy is funny. He's self-deprivating. He is really, really smart. He is obsessed with the Magna Carta. And he's made me obsessed with the Magna Carta, the rule of law, the United States Constitution, which I'm already a little obsessed with that. Maybe this is why I've switched. I've become a fan of Charles. Anyway, he did a lot of this today. So here he is walking around. They look kind of happy. Look at her jewels. Oh my God, these are rubies. These are big, gigantic rubies. Anyway, so he did that today. He did this late tonight. Here he was earlier. I just locked these videos. I'm gonna unlock them. Here he is earlier at the Capitol with MAGA Mike. MAGA Mike took him on a tour and walked him all around the Capitol. And then he had a meeting with some behind closed door meeting with lawmakers. Here's some audio. So he just, I don't know. And so then there's MAGA Mike showing him around. But then here was the big one. There was dinner. This just dragged on and on because, Trump is obsessed with this. But they walked all around. They walked like up here, then down here, and then around and around. And then they gave comments. But at least the music is I love this guy. This guy's trying to lead him. Trump got lost earlier and didn't know which way to go. Oh, here. Trump kind of goes the wrong way. But, yeah. Hey, you're hard to hear. I'm hard to hear? Oh, because I'm talking over and I didn't lower the thing. So, joint session of Congress. King Charles. Here he is arriving to the joint session of Congress. It's just the arrival shots. And then I got his first soundbite, his By Jove soundbite, his Ukraine soundbite, his checks and balances and Magna Carta soundbite. And then he makes some jokes. And then there was a message that he wove into his speech for the EPSTEIN survivors, because he did not meet with them. And I've got Ro Khanna talking about that. So here's him arriving. Okay, I'll just say, from a historical standpoint, this is a big deal. Yes, his mother came and spoke before Congress in a joint session, I think in 1991, and he talks about that. But he's the first king of England to appear before a joint session of Congress. His, I think, great grandfather, I'm not sure, was here in 1931, came, and he was the first king to ever visit the country. But here's what he did. I'm gonna go to this. This was the dinner tonight. Oh my God. Okay. What's wrong with this? Why can't this be our ball? No, it wasn't good enough for Trump to have this room, and then there's another room that he demolished when he demolished the wing. This is what the king did today. Beneath the king's jokes and decorum, some subtle rebuttals at Trump. And here's what he rebutted Trump on. Well, I'll start with the least. He rebutted global warming. Okay, he weaved in global warming into his speech and the beauty of this earth. He definitely didn't weave in. He came right out and said, we've got to support Ukraine. Boom. And then he overwhelmingly, over and over again, said how important NATO is. And he's right. He's right. He's right about everything. And Trump's wrong about everything. I wrote all this stuff down. Anyway, here's the first soundbite from with the king entering the joint session. Oh, nope, that's not it. I don't know why I have inspecting troops there. Here it is, Charles 1.
Mr. Speaker, Their Majesties King Charles III and Queen Camilla.
I know, that goes on and on, by the way. And I don't know why I was going to make comments over it, but then I didn't have my mic on for that one either. So, here's this man that I always have kind of mocked, like he's boring and who cares and yada, yada, yada. But wow, he was just so full of history and so full of the importance of the relationship between the United States and Great Britain and how we have had each other's back through the years. He talked about 9/11. He talked about NATO coming for the first time ever. NATO was came and helped a country, and his country helped us in a number of ways. And he was just great. Here he is. Here's his first soundbite.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of Congress, representatives of the American people across all states, territories, cities, and communities. I would like, if I may, to take this opportunity to express my particular gratitude to you all for the great honor of addressing this joint meeting of Congress, and on behalf of the Queen and myself, to thank the American people for welcoming us to the United States to mark this semi-quincentennial year of the Declaration of Independence. And for all of that time, for all of that time, our destinies as nations have been interlinked. As Oscar Wilde said, we have really everything in common with America nowadays, except, of course, language. So, ladies and gentlemen, we meet in times of great uncertainty, in times of conflict from Europe to the Middle East, which pose immense challenges for the international community and whose impact is felt in communities the length and breadth of our own countries. We meet, too, in the aftermath of the incident not far from this great building that sought to harm the leadership of your nation and to foment wider fear and discord. Let me say with unshakable resolve, such acts of violence will never succeed. Whatever our differences, whatever disagreements we may have, we stand united in our commitment to uphold democracy, to protect all our people from harm, and to salute the courage of those who daily risk their lives in the service of our countries.
So there was this whole thing tonight somewhere that somebody posted. The White House. The White House posted. I'll get closer to the mic. The White House posted a picture of King Charles and a picture of Trump and said the kings or something, the two kings or something like that. And here's the thing about that. This king, King Charles, served in the military. I mean, he had a number of tours. He was in the Royal Navy, and all the monarchs serve. Now, I'm not starstruck here, but the whole difference between what Trump wants to do and what Charles is like unbelievable. So, I went and looked up the Magna Carta because, I know the fact that the Magna Carta is what we based our Constitution on, what we based the Bill of Rights on. And so the Magna Carta was issued, and he talks about this in a coming up soundbite, was issued in June 1215. It was the first document to put into writing. Here's where, Trump wants to be king. No, he doesn't want to be this kind of king that King Charles is. Put into writing the principle that the king and his government are not above the law. And Charles said that a number of times and even talked about the Supreme Court in his speech to Congress. And even talked about the balance of power, the three separate branches and their equal branches. And that balance of power is so important. And I loved it because all the Republicans got up and started applauding. And it's like, dudes, don't you know he's criticizing you right now Don't, I mean, MAGA Mike was behind like cheering. And it's like, hey, he's saying you guys aren't doing your job right now. I mean, you got to, listen to the subtext. He wasn't turning and looking at him and going, you're lousy. You're not doing your job. He was saying it by quoting, the Magna Carta, the rule of law and the balance of power. And so anyway, the king and the government not above the law. It sought to prevent the king from exploiting his power and placed limits of royal authority by establishing law as a power unto itself. And Great Britain is going to celebrate the 800 years of the Magna Carta. Oh, in 2015, the House of Parliament, along with people of UK, celebrated 800 years. I mean, we're celebrating 250. They're celebrating 800 years of having the Parliament and the Prime Minister, elected people, be in charge of their government. And that's how it is. So, yeah, he's a king. He's, royalty. But he doesn't have any power. Like Trump tonight said at the dinner, King Charles agrees with me, on the war or something. And then the article that I was reading said, no, he doesn't, because he doesn't get involved in that stuff. But he does get involved in like big, broad things. So that was his first soundbite. And then here's the by Jove soundbite. By Jove, he said. By Jove. By Jove, Mr. Speaker. So here that is. And then right after this one, I've got the Ukraine one coming up.
As I look back across the centuries, Mr. Speaker, there emerge certain patterns, certain self-evident truths from which we can learn and draw mutual strength. With the spirit of 1776 in our minds, we can perhaps agree that we do not always agree, at least in the first instance. Indeed, the very principle on which your Congress was founded, no taxation without representation, was at once a fundamental disagreement between us, and at the same time a shared democratic value which you inherited from us. Ours is a partnership born out of dispute, but no less strong for it. So perhaps in this example, we can discern that our nations are in fact instinctively like-minded, a product of the common democratic, legal, and social traditions in which our governance is rooted to this day. Drawing on these values and traditions, time and again, our two countries have always found ways to come together. And by Jove, Mr. Speaker, when we have found that way to agree, what great change is brought about, not just for the benefit of our peoples, but of all peoples. This, I believe, is the special ingredient in our relationship. As President Trump himself observed during his state visit to Britain last autumn, the bond of kinship and identity between America and the United Kingdom is priceless and eternal. It is irreplaceable and unbreakable.
Okay, there were a lot of standing ovations, a lot of cheering. He made jokes. He joked about, he quoted Tale of Two Cities. He called it the Tale of Two Georges, King George and George Washington. He was very charming, and Congress just loved him. This is some text from the New York Times that says that Trump really behaved himself today. Now, Trump did not call in the press like he did with Zelensky. You know how he does with foreign leaders, and then he embarrasses them and says something mean? Well, apparently the king didn't want to do that. So they did not call in and have the big press gaggle when they were meeting in the Oval Office. It says a rarity for the Trump era. The president stuck mostly to a script during a day of ceremonial events. He did not invite a horde of reporters into the Oval Office just before their meeting to field questions on Iran, the ballroom, or Greenland in the presence of his visiting foreign dignitary. He did not lash out at a global ally, so he behaved. See, he can behave when he wants, dementia aside. In one apparent unscripted remark, during the state dinner, Mr. Trump referred to the war in Iran and insisted that Charles agrees with me. It's an awkward moment because Charles studiously stays out of such matters of war and politics. Trump really seemed to be enjoying himself. So that was the soundbite. Here's the Ukraine soundbite. And Charles talks a lot about 9/11, NATO, and the importance of supporting democracies around the world.
In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, when NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time, and the United Nations Security Council was united in the face of terror, we answered the call together, as our people have done so for more than a century, shoulder to shoulder, through 2 world wars, the Cold War, Afghanistan, and moments that have defined our shared security. Today, Mr. Speaker, that same unyielding resolve is needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous people. It is needed in order to secure a truly just and lasting peace. From the depths of the Atlantic to the disastrously melting ice caps of the Arctic, the commitment and expertise of the United States Armed Forces and its allies lie at the heart of NATO, pledged to each other's defense, protecting our citizens and interests, keeping North Americans and Europeans safe from our common adversaries. Our defense, intelligence and security ties are hardwired together through relationships measured not in years, but in decades. Today, thousands of US service personnel, defense officials and their families are stationed in the United Kingdom, as British personnel serve with equal pride across 30 American states. We are building F-35s together, and we have agreed the most ambitious submarine program in history, AUKUS.
All right, am I losing it? Maybe I do have dementia. Did he talk about Ukraine there? By Jove. This is the Ukraine bite.
In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, when NATO invoked Article 5
this is the bite.
For the first time, and the United Nations Security Council was united in the face of terror, we answered the call together, as our people have done so for more than a century.
All right, that's a bite I just played. All right, so here is the sound bite where he talks about checks and balances and the Congress and how important it is. And he does talk about, the Magna CARTA.
Founding fathers were bold and imaginative rebels with a cause. 250 years ago, or as we say in the United Kingdom, just the other day, they declared independence. By balancing contending forces and drawing strength into diversity, they united 13 disparate colonies to forge a nation on the revolutionary idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They carried with them and carried forward the great inheritance of the British Enlightenment, as well as the ideals which had an even deeper history in English common law and Magna Carta. These roots run deep, and they are still vital. Our Declaration of Rights of 1689 was not only the foundation of our constitutional monarchy, but also provided the source of so many of the principles reiterated, often verbatim, in the American Bill of Rights of 1791. And those roots go even further back in history. The US Supreme Court Historical Society has calculated that Magna Carta is cited in at least 160 Supreme Court cases since 1789, not least as the foundation of the principle that executive power is subject to checks and balances.
All right, I just have to pause for a second. The Mel Gibson comment was hilarious. All right, I just want to say, the whole Magna Carta thing, checks and balances, and the president is not king, and the president should be subject to the rule of law, and Trump just can't do anything. And did you see? Yeah. Did you see the justice there making a face? Jerks.
This is the reason why there stands a stone by the River Thames at Runnymede, where Magna Carta was signed in the year 1215. This stone records that an acre of that ancient and historic site was given to the United States of America by the people of the United Kingdom to symbolize our shared resolve in support of liberty and in memory of President John F. Kennedy. Distinguished members of the 119th Congress, it is here in these very halls that this spirit of liberty and the promise of America's founders is present in every session and every vote cast.
See, he's trying to tell Congress, get with the program, man. Don't let Trump do whatever he wants to do. I mean, he may have his problems with all the other stuff that you guys are mentioning, which I'm sure you're right. Because usually, I go up and look up stuff later. I mean, the people, those who are, not mean, not making just nasty, rude comments, but, I'll go and double check and do a check later about Mel Gibson coming in on a horse. Anyway, so that's the checks and balance soundbite. And then he makes this little joke, and then I will get to, because it's going to be a downer, on the Epstein survivors. So they had Ro-Khanna had a meeting today of the Epstein survivors because they were trying to get the king to meet with them. So here's the little joke soundbite. I don't even remember what it is now.
Standing here today, it is hard not to feel the weight of history on my shoulder, because the modern relationship between our two nations and our own peoples spans not merely 250 years, but over 4 centuries. It is extraordinary to think that I am the 19th in our line of sovereigns to study with daily attention the affairs of America. So I come here today with the highest respect for the United States Congress, this citadel of democracy created to represent the voice of all American people to advance sacred rights and freedoms. Speaking in this renowned chamber of debate and deliberation, I cannot help but think of my late mother, Queen Elizabeth, who in 1991 was also afforded this signal honor and similarly spoke under the watchful eye of the Statue of Freedom above us. Today, I am here on this great occasion in the life of our nations to express the highest regard and friendship of the British people to the people of the United States. Now, as you may know, when I address my own Parliament at Westminster, we still follow an age-old tradition and take a Member of Parliament hostage, holding him or her at Buckingham Palace until I am safely returned. These days, we look after our guests rather well, to the point that they often do not want to leave. I don't know, Mr. Speaker, if were any volunteers for that role here.
I volunteer to not leave. Anyway, I don't know if you missed the beginning when I was talking about the king. The king doesn't have the power that Trump thinks he's going to have or wants to have. Oh my God. Did you see the picture of him with a passport? Uh, yeah. So let's see. So takeaways. You want to do the toast now? Should I do the toast where he talks? The king gives Trump a final toast after the dinner tonight. Let's just go to the Epstein survivors. So they had a round table today on Capitol Hill because they were hoping that they could get the king to pop in, but he was too busy walking around the White House grounds with Trump, just walking up and down and around. I mean, it was really, I can play that for you again if you want. Here is Rokana.
We're doing this on the day that King Charles is visiting the Capitol. I had made a request of King Charles to meet, not with me, not with Thomas Massie, not with the survivor groups, but the actual survivors. I thought the king owed that to the survivors, given his brother's serious allegations of abuse. And I thought it would have been an incredible moment and statement to show that it doesn't matter how much wealth you have, how much power you have, no human being is dispensable, and that the survivors deserve justice. He unfortunately declined that request. I met with the British ambassador. The British ambassador has suggested that the king will acknowledge the Epstein survivors in his address to Congress today. I hope his flunkies don't take out the acknowledgement from his text, and I fully expect the king to be acknowledging the survivors and the Epstein survivors when he speaks to our nation at Congress this afternoon. But this roundtable is about recentering the survivors. They have shown such courage, such enormous guts to tell their stories over and over again, and to see that there's justice for people who abused young girls and in some cases trafficked and raped them. Twice, Sky and other family members and survivors came outside the Capitol, and their advocacy is what led to Thomas Massie and my ability to pass the Epstein Transparency Act.
Yeah, they passed the Epstein Transparency Act, but they're still in violation of the Epstein Transparency Act. So you all know, everybody, I'm sure you all know about this is King Charles' brother. Now, King Charles went ahead and stripped, maybe that's a poor choice of words, removed all of Andrew's royal perks. So stripped him of his titles and kicked him out of his castles. And I know, I don't know why, but I didn't know that they had paid off Virginia Dupree. I will go. So here's the Queen, and apparently Andrew borrowed money from the current king and his brother and his mom he took out a $12 million loan to get out of some of the problems he was in due to the Epstein files. And here is Virginia Dupree, and here she is when she was a young woman. Oops. I guess that's in another article I have here. I'll go to that other article. Virginia Dupree was extremely depressed about losing her multi-million-dollar Prince Andrew payout 2 weeks before her, and I'm not saying it because of the algorithm. She was extremely depressed. Here's her. This woman apparently sued Virginia Dupree and was apparently going to win the lawsuit because Dupree in her book said that this woman was Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend. That's what I gleaned from this article. Here she is, and then here she is. This is Andrew, and there's, her, that they say they're going to give her a pardon. What do you do? What can you even do about the pardons? Because, everybody was talking yesterday about, well, maybe things wouldn't be so violent if Trump hadn't pardoned all the guys from, January 6th. So, yeah, he's been stripped of all his powers. He's been charged with something, but I don't know if it's exactly related to any of this. It's others. It's like sharing documents with people he shouldn't have been sharing documents with. That's what he's been charged with because he was arrested. So I listened to King Charles' speech, and then the only reason I found the soundbite was because it was quoted, I think, in the Times or in the it was quoted in the BBC. Here is King Charles on the survivors, and he's talking about people who are less fortunate than others. So here it is.
This is the reason why there stands a stone by the River Thames at Runnymede, where Magna Carta was.
So he's talking again about the stone. So this was the second time that he talked about the stone, but he's working his way into how we have to be more concerned about people who aren't as fortunate or for victims. So I just wanted to clarify, this is not the same soundbite. This is the second time he mentioned the Magna Carta stone.
Signed in the year 1215. This stone records that an acre of that ancient and historic site was given to the United States of America by the people of the United Kingdom to symbolize our shared resolve in support of liberty and in memory of President John F. Kennedy. Distinguished members of the 119th Congress, it is here in these very halls that this spirit of liberty and the promise of America's founders is present in every session and every vote cast, not by the will of one, but by the deliberation of many, representing the living mosaic of the United States. In both of our countries, it is the very fact of our vibrant, diverse, and free societies that gives us our collective strength, including to support victims of some of the ills that so tragically exist in both our societies today. And, Mr. Speaker, for many here, and for myself, the Christian faith is a firm anchor and daily inspiration that guides us, not only personally, but together as members of our community. Having devoted a large part of my life to interfaith relationships and greater understanding, it is that faith in the triumph of light over darkness which I have found confirmed countless times. Through it, I am inspired by the profound respect that develops as people of different faiths grow in their understanding of each other. It is why, it is my hope, my prayer, that in these turbulent times, working together and with our international partners, we can stem the beating of plowshares into swords. I am mindful that we are still in the season of Easter, the season that most strengthens my hope It is why I believe with all my heart that the essence of our two nations is a generosity of spirit and a duty to foster compassion, to promote peace, to deepen mutual understanding, and to value all people of all faiths and of none.
All right, value people of all faiths and of none. And there was, according to a number of, I don't know, New York Times, Guardian, that whole message there was mentioning of the Epstein survivors. I don't know. I'm not buying it though. I mean, I listened to it and it's like, oh, okay. Maybe you could read that into it, but maybe not. I don't know. He didn't meet with them. And I did say yesterday that I can't stand this guy, and I don't even know why, why everybody's making such a big deal about him. He was a cheater. He cheated on his beautiful young wife with that woman now who's his current wife. I mean, somebody said, Gloria, you're not even talking about Diana. I did. I have. He won me over today because of the Magna Carta. When he started talking about the Magna Carta, he had me. He had me in the palm of his hand. And, it's just our Congress is letting us down. They are not doing their jobs. They are supposed to be balancing out the power of Trump. They're an equal branch of government, a co-equal branch. They don't even pass the law to, oh, honey, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to do earlier. Thank you so much. Bam, I've got to do something. When somebody gives me money, I've got to figure out a thing to do. Somebody was talking about my wig yesterday. I don't have a wig on, but a friend has a wig. I was going to wear a wig and then rip it off when I get donations. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something clever, but thanks. I know. Well, I don't believe in cheating. If you don't like, your marriage or whatever, or whatever. I believe in live and let live, but don't cheat. Just go move on. But he was the king. And thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. Gosh, I just really can't even thank you enough. Do a backflip. I know that the cheater thing, but the Diana thing. She was a young woman. She was a young girl. And he married her under false pretenses. And if he was going to stand up, why didn't he stand up before he had that big wedding and that big coronation, all the stuff that he did? But then it was like, oh, he loves Camilla. He just loves her. And it's a love story. It's like, blah. There are worse things in life, right? Look at Trump. I'm just saying. And so he won me over a little bit because I don't know. He may be like what some of you say, washed up and on, but at least he came and tried to strengthen the relationship that we have with his country, because Trump's been such a disaster. Trump's a disaster. He does not know how to negotiate. He does not know how to be decent to our allies. He has alienated everybody. And so when we do need help, nobody wants to help him. And, you can't blame them. I'm going to go to Al Jazeera because, and here's the other thing. Trump's a big liar. He's a liar. Trump says Iran requesting end to U.S. blockade. Israel kills 3 medics. It's like, the king is here and this is still going on and things are getting worse and things are going to get worse. They're going to get worse for us financially. And, it's like business as usual. They're in their damn tuxedos. I mean, okay, this was scheduled way before the war. So, yeah, it's just frustrating that we're in this mess and it's bad. It's Israel's just doing whatever, and the talks are stalled, and the strait is still blocked. Oil is a worldwide commodity, so I couldn't spell commodity last night. So we're all getting it. We're all going to get slammed. Inflation, the Fed thinks, is just going to skyrocket. And, you know, instead of anybody doing anything about, like the Epstein files, for instance, and I've got Virginia Dufree's brother soundbite here. I can play it right now. Or we can go to what, I'm finding it right here. Where is it? I covered it up. Comey. The Justice Department has charged Comey again. And apparently they went to a grand jury and they've indicted Comey again. And you guys have heard about this. It was the damn, you know, the shells on the at the beach, when he was at the beach. Trump administration issues another indictment against Comey because why? Okay, this is our money. Just like the ballroom now, they want to use our money because he couldn't get anybody to build that damn ballroom. And, oh yeah, Jeff Bezos and Tim Cook were at the dinner tonight. You know, why don't they build the damn ballroom? Why do we have to build the damn ballroom? Anyway, Comey's been indicted again for the thing that he did with the shells about, you know, quote, you know, you have to quote. The new Comey charge stems from an incident nearly a year ago when the former FBI director vacationing in North Carolina coast posted a photograph on social media showing seashells arranged to say 8647, combining the slang term 86, often used to mean dismissal or removal. It's like a, you know, they say it in at the bars when you're drunk, you know, you're drunk, you're 86, you're out of here. They say it, you know, when you're on a little boat, you know, we're going to 86 you, you're going to go off the side if you don't, you know, stop drinking. So that's why they've indicted the former FBI director again. Why are they wasting our time? Release the Epstein files for these women. And let's arrest some of these dudes. If we have to arrest these rich guys, let's do it. Let's do it now. So anyway, they're wasting our money doing this. It's just a waste of money. Here's Virginia Dufree's brother.
There's no more fitting way to end this than just the words of Virginia herself. So I'm going to read page 366, Nobody's Girl. If you've read this far, I hope my story has moved you. To seek ways to free yourself from a bad situation, say, to stand up for someone else in need, or to simply reframe how you judge victims of sexual abuse. Each one of us can make positive change. I truly believe that. I hope for a world in which predators are punished, not protected. Victims are treated with compassion, not shamed. And powerful people face the same consequences as anyone else. I yearn, too, for a world in which perpetrators face more shame than their victims do, and where anyone who's been trafficked can confront their abusers when they are ready, no matter how much time has passed. We don't live in this world yet. I mean, seriously, where are those videotapes the FBI confiscated from Epstein's houses? And why haven't they led to the prosecution of any more abusers? But I believe we could, someday. Imagining it is the first step, in my mind, hold a picture of a girl reaching out for help and easily finding it. I picture a woman, too, who, having come to terms with her childhood pain, feels that it's within her power to take action against those who's hurt her. If this book moves us even an inch closer to the reality like that, if it helps just one person, I will have achieved my goal. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there they are, and they got just a little mention from the king, some sort of weirdo. I don't know. They say that he was talking about the survivors, and I mean he's been through it, and the thing is, in England, however much they may be in trouble or whatever, when people are saying earlier on the chat. At least they're prosecuting the people that they know were involved with Jeffrey Epstein, unlike us. And just like he was reading there, where are the videos? Jeffrey Epstein recorded everything. He had cameras all over his houses. Where are those? Where's all the evidence? And why is the brother always so silent about all this? Anyway, release the files. Here is the final, and then I won't do any more on King Charles. He's going to New York, and he's going to go to the 9/11 monument there. Here's the toast.
Mr. President, First Lady, my wife and I are most grateful to you for your generous hospitality as the United States celebrates this very special anniversary year of the Declaration of Independence. And may I also just start by paying tribute to your own courage and steadfastness, as well as to your security services, for their swift actions on Saturday evening in preventing further injury. My thoughts... My thoughts and sympathies are very much with you, the First Lady, and all those guests for whom this must have been a very upsetting incident. As the words of that famous anthem remind us, this is the land of the free and home of the brave, as your own response demonstrates. What used to be called in the last war in the United Kingdom, keep calm and carry on. As the direct descendant of King George III, I know this is a nation that never gives up. And my family's history remains reflected in your maps, which read rather like our Christmas card list across the ages. North and South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and the cities of Charleston, a particular favorite of mine, obviously, Georgetown, and for that matter, Georgia, Annapolis, as you mentioned, and further favorites, Prince William County and Williamsburg. This said, our French friends can feel equally at home with a glance at a map. Indeed, you recently commented, Mr. President, that if it were not for the United States, European countries would be speaking German. Dare I say that if it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking French. Thank you, Mr. President and Mrs. Trump, for your splendid dinner this evening, which, may I say, is a very considerable improvement on the Boston Tea Party. So, whether your cup contains tea, wine, Scotch whisky, bourbon, or even cola, let us raise our glasses and voices as we toast the past, the present, and the future, thank you, of our two proud and allied nations. To the United States and the United Kingdom, God bless both our countries.
That's it. The photographer did not hold the shot, the editor. Right after this, it just goes. It just like disappears. So I'm holding it there. Yeah, that's it. That's a wrap. Blah, blah, blah. I know. Or I could just come back here and show Jim Comey. Why are we wasting our time indicting this man? Oh, thanks to everybody for telling me what 86 means, cancel order. I don't know. I was listening to somebody today describe it, and I thought it was like, stop giving 86 this customer because this customer is drunk. who knows? All right. So we've got the war. There's still a blockade. Lebanon's prime minister slams Israel's war crimes as 3 rescue workers are killed. And they're still bombing the hell out of Gaza. And it's just, it's bad. So OPEC, oil prices, it's all just still there. Still there as Trump walks around on the here. Turning it down. At least this, how's the mic? Is it okay? At least this music isn't obnoxious like that other music. Yeah, I mean, it's like, what was the point of this? All right. I am going to say good night. Good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow, so I'll say good night till it be morrow. That is from Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. And now, I played the nurse in that play. You know, the old nurse. All right, that's it. Thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate you. Please subscribe. You are boring. I know. You know. Oh, I thought you were talking about us. The Prime Minister of Great Britain is on shaky ground. And, you know, because he hired the Epstein guy that came here and was ambassador, and then it all comes out. And now he's in trouble. So at least they do something about their pedophiles. Not like us. There's Trump just doesn't know where to go. He's so confusing. Ben Marcellus was saying today that Trump looked really bad and that his hands looked really bad. But he showed this shot and I really couldn't see the hands, and I kind of paused it and zoomed in, but I couldn't tell. So go eat some mushrooms. All right. Mushrooms are fungus. All right. Thanks everybody. And please subscribe and please like, and I'll see you tomorrow. There's a lot going on in Congress. A lot of legislation and stuff that's not getting done because they're always on vacation. And today, I'm sure they took the whole day off because the prince was there, the king was there. So there's that. I'm going to stop streaming. Thanks again. And here's Trump walking around to the music. I'm Gloria Moraga. This is Political News. Thank you again so much for being here. And please subscribe. This is the audio-only version of a live stream that I did on YouTube. Thanks. Be safe.